Welcome back, friends, for the last game of the day. We are going to be heading into the grand finals here in our NA region, stage 2 OWCS. So here, joined by Danny, by Jake, by Johnny, and we're ready for all the action. This is a rematch of the winners final in the upper bracket, and now they're doing it again. Both teams already qualified, of course, for Dallas, Texas, but now they're fighting it out for, of course, the placement, also, of course, for the circuit points and the big bucks. Let's take a look at the rosters to see who is going up against each other. Very well-known players across the board on both of these teams.
Yeah, and a chance for a rematch here for Toronto Defiant, who has been the most dominant team in North America the entire year. Obviously, huge pickups in the offseason, but now facing some stiff competition, you know, with M80 picking up Happy and Pelican in the roster. You gotta say, though, they have so much versatility to the roster. Someone is the most valuable tank in Overwatch, being able to play both dive heroes like the Winston, for example, but also being able to flex over to whatever you need to get the advantage over the opposition. RuPaul has had some phenomenal Ana impact in this stage where Vega pulls out the Brig, but also when it comes to the Kiriko, even the BAP, I mean, you can't ask for much more when it comes from RuPaul. Question for me is going to be on the Tracer play. Can you pull something out on Toronto Defiant to match Pelican and everything he can do on that hero? Otherwise, this roster is pretty much perfect.
Yeah, and on the other side of the server, it's going to be M80. We talked about Happy and Pelican. This is a world-class damage duo hailing from South Korea. These guys are some of the best in the world. That's why M80 is using their import slots on them. And the two of them together can handle any heroes in the game. I mean, I'm very confident in saying that. I think either of these players can handle literally the entire DPS roster, and it gives them an incredible flexibility to work with. Hawk really has leveled up his main tank gameplay. I think that's really crucial to highlight. We've always known he's one of the best off tanks in NA, probably the best, it's fair to say, but I think these days his Winston looks a lot stronger than I've seen it in the past, and he's going to set his team up for success. Ultraviolet and Liar, less experienced players, but I think they've shown a ton of potential. UV in particular has great mechanics, and so if they can build well around their incredible damage players, incredible tank, this could be a very, very threatening team. And I mean, they won yesterday, so I'd say they're the favorites.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I'm pretty sure the opposition has something to say about that. Let's actually bring in our coaches to have a quick chat before the match. Casaurus and Gator joining us. How are you guys feeling? Starting with you, Gator.
Good, feeling good.
Yeah, just let some more.
What about you, Casaurus?
No, feeling good. Gator's been doing a yalla yapping, so I figured I'd come on here to give him some yapping back.
All right, Casaurus.
Finally.
All right, Casaurus. Yeah, I mean, you took a pretty brutal loss yesterday. You know, I made it looking real good, but then afterwards, as the instigator I am, I did give Gator the opportunity to take a victory lap here on the broadcast. How do you guys feel on Toronto after yesterday's match? Do you still feel confident going up against M80 here in this matchup?
You know, I think yesterday is more of a Mickey Mouse victory. Everybody knows that coming from the upper bracket doesn't give too much in Overwatch. So today is going to be the real game, and we'll see if they can perform again today.
All right, I actually have a very interesting question. So, I mean, both of you guys have great Korean players, right? One side has someone in Merit, other side has Happy and Pelly. So I want to ask coaches, I want to ask you guys, which team has the better Korean duo and why? Casaurus, you want to start?
Yeah, of course. No, I think, you know, Ham and Merit, they're just insane players. I think both in leadership and in just raw mechanical skill coming from Merit on the hit scan. I think, you know, a DPS line is great, but I think a tank controls the entire game, and we have the best tank in the world.
All right. Gator, how about you? Do you feel like Pelly and Happy is better than someone at Merit?
I think they're better because the other roster is flawed in that they'll never be the best at anything. So I think being able to H-key is nice, but getting like a sick monkey player without the rest of the team being good at dive is a bit of a waste in my opinion. So, I mean, they can play dive. They're probably not even top 6 on it in the world. They're not top rush comp. They're not top poke comp. So they're good at everything, but they're not the best at anything. So I think it's a bit flawed for that reason.
That's interesting to hear, and we get the chat preds in. It's pretty much dead even, dead heat, 50-50. So I'm curious to hear, especially from you, Gator. What do you think is your team's strongest look, right? Like you've said, like what's the comp that you can beat the world on, especially looking ahead to Dallas, playing these Korean teams? What's the style that you can plant your flag on and say, you know, like we will be the very best in the world playing this way?
I think we can be the best in the world on anything but pure actual dive. I think we can beat anybody in rush. I think we can beat anybody in poke comps. So yeah, I'm quite confident today. I mean, I don't feel like we have any pressure. Like when you're like Toronto and you're expected to win, it's not actually really that fun, because when you win, you're just happy you didn't have to lose. So I think we're literally just chilling. Like there's really nothing on the line for us, but I feel like everything's on the line for Toronto, and they're in a bit of a dogfight with SOG in the dive, so that was a bit weird.
It's a bit weird. Wow, guys.
True dog's fight.
Lots of talking. It's time for some walking. Thank you both so much for taking the time, and best of luck to both teams in our grand finals.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't think we'll need it though.
All right. Gator is bringing it this main
Someone's
event.
got to bring some banter.
That's right.
right?
I'm loving it.
It's not Gator than who? It's not Gator
This is why I love Gator. He's just, all the banter.
Also, A+ background for Gator. Just throwing it out there.
I didn't even look at his
Throwing it out
background.
there. Yeah, there was a lot of good
That's good.
stuff that there was. There was a humidifier. There were some weights. There was an astronaut star projector for the mood. So very impressive overall. Obviously, the proof is in the pudding. So let's see if the teams can get it done, because only one of them will come out on top. Let's take a look at our predictions for this one in this very rematch. I went with M80. I just felt they were extremely dominant yesterday, and they just seem to have a very good idea of their win conditions against what Toronto Defiant has been playing so far.
I thought it was pretty close yesterday, and after talking with Ham, I do feel like it's going to be Toronto taking this win. Sure, they did fumble yesterday, but I mean, I do feel like they're not going to make the same mistake twice, and I feel like they are ready to become the champions one more time.
For me, I think this is going to be a very close series, but ultimately I had to predict M80. I mean, getting that convincing win yesterday was huge, and I think Hawk is, or rather Gator is right about his team, about what they're utilizing Hawk. Yes, Toronto's incredibly good at the H key, which is to say counter-picking, always staying in the strategic advantage. It's crucial to top-level Overwatch these days, but I feel that M80 has kind of equalized that advantage with Toronto, at least what we saw yesterday, with Hawk able to follow right along behind and stay ahead of the hero swaps on his own. And then when it comes to the damage dealer combo, I feel like they actually have better swap potential than Toronto, because I think truly, like, even if you only had Happy or you only had Pelican as individual separate players, each one of those guys can literally play the whole roster. I mean, you don't see Happy going Tracer very much, you won't see Peli going Widow very much, but like, they can. And the fact that you have that option means even in this weird scenario you didn't plan for, you didn't expect, that can happen in the grand finals in a 7-game series. And I'm hard pressed to think of better DPS to be in that spot, to need to play an unconventional strategy and adapt on match day.
Well, I was on M80's corner yesterday, so I don't see much reason to change now and start believing in Toronto Defiant. I still got M80 here today in a 4-2 win. We've been talking a lot about how good the teams are, though, and how good they are, their kind of individual styles, and I very much think we're going to see some top-tier Overwatch in this one. But if there is anything that Toronto Defiant maybe could look at as a bit of a weakness for M80, I do think that maybe you could target the backline. Maybe you can put some more pressure onto Liar. I think we saw yesterday, especially on Midtown, that Liar struggled under pressure when he was playing the Brig, for example. And that is, something that we don't really see from top teams. Usually they're pretty well-rounded, but that could be an attack angle. If I was Toronto Defiant, that is something I would look at as a potential weakness for M80, and maybe we can secure the edge that way. Maybe we talk a lot about someone's versatility. We talk a lot about, how good Merit and Sugar for you is. But honestly, when you're in a matchup like this, you need to create attack vectors that you can focus on, that you can find an advantage in. And I really do think that the backline is the difference here in this matchup. And if I was Toronto Defiant, I would look to gain an advantage by having the better backline today.
It's interesting that you're talking about this again, because even yesterday when we set up this match, I think it was you, Jake, who said like the backline is most likely going to be the weak link of M80. It certainly isn't the front line. Have you had the sense at all that Toronto Defiant attempted to actually pressure the backline or somehow take advantage of that potential weakness?
I think they might want to. The challenge for me, Johnny, and I think you're right to say that, like, that's probably a good look. And in general, putting a ton of pressure on the main support is how elite Overwatch is played. But in order to do that successfully, you've got to be taking positive trades in the Tracer duel.
Yeah.
Usually, that's going to be the first step. Like, if you try to run past the enemy Tracer and go on his support, a Tracer like Pelican's going to eat you alive trying to just come past him and disrespect him like that. So I think in order to even get to the step of pressuring the backline, you've got to be taking positive tank trades, positive DPS trades. So in a way, having a support that you're like always trying to force dives on. At this level, you can't just send it to the back line. You know, you're just gonna feed.
No, but you got someone who's a really good Winston.
He is. But if his DPS are getting caught up in duels and he's going alone, he can't do it, right? I mean, even someone's good enough, he won't be forcing those until his DPS are actually ready. So I think, to be honest, you have to be able to equalize this Tracer situation between Sugar Free and Pelican. I do give Pelican the edge there. I think he's a little bit of a stronger player. More or less all the heroes that they play, and they're kind of similar players in terms of hero pool, but I just give Peli the edge in raw mechanics there. So Sugar Free, I think, is going to be the player to watch in this match. If he can prove me wrong and really deliver a devastating performance on the flankers, I think that could blow M80 wide open, because if Sugar Free's taking good trades on the flank, that leaves someone like Liar to be the one who has to absorb the pressure. That could be a problem for them. However, I'm just a little skeptical whether it's actually going to go that way. If you're losing the initial trades on the flank with Tracer, you're never getting to the back line. I mean, you're going to be the ones defending your own supports.
Yeah, we'll see. They have played a lot of on a break, you know, maybe with some extra armor packs you could try to help out in that duel. There are ways to allocate resources to try to help, but you're completely correct, Jake, that, you know, M80, they have the upper hand when it comes to the Tracer duel. That's part of why we, you know, predicted them in the first place.
Yeah, well, you saw our predictions here, of course. Let's bring in our casters for this grand final in the NA region and hear it from them. Any Toronto believers over there?
Matt?
I actually think I would go with M80. Yesterday's match was pretty close, but like if you can even look at it, like I think M80 had actually an opportunity to even finish it like 3-0. Like there was an opportunity for that, like it was that close. So I would say M80, especially with some of the confidence after that match, comes in today here to take care of business.
Yeah, it was quite an unlikely showing from Toronto Defiant yesterday. We'll see if they can kind of shore it up. Pretty nice 3-0 over Students of the Game, so pretty warmed up in that regard. Although the amount that Pelican and Happy can kind of flex, like Jake was saying, it's pretty nasty. Widow Torb, looking good. Please play more of that. I mean, we're going to Midtown. Maybe we do see it. Nepal is up first,
I'm still reeling and not over the fact that on Lifeweaver's birthday, Rack Attack didn't play Lifeweaver.
Did for half a second. He was in Spawn. He played in Spawn for a little bit. I say played. I don't think that even counts to play time, but
He selected it.
Yeah, Lifeweaver existed in the lobby for half a second. All good. Don't go flaming my boy Rack like that. Come on, man. All right.
What?
Toronto Defiant and M80 load in here for main event stage 2, the grand finals. It is a first to 4 defending champions in Toronto Defiant. Don't want to go down the same way they did against M80 yesterday as we roll out of the gates. Both tanks hovering the Orisa.
Who do you think has the advantage in terms of the Orisa mirror? Like, I actually think, like, it almost, I mean, it's hard to say, but I almost would say, like, M80 in an odd way, right? I think, like, you know, Hawk can play the Orisa really well, and I actually really like Pelican on the Tracer. So when we've seen, you know, Toronto Defiant, and we see someone playing, like, some Winston at times, you know, even some Sigma, right? I think the Orisa is something that, I know, potentially I would give M80 the upper hand.
Yeah, Hawk has definitely showed a ton of improvement over the tank, just since even starting Overwatch 2. It was a phenomenal one to begin with, but I feel like he's really leveled up. M80, unfortunately, they do end up losing Pelican first, sadly. Same with Ultraviolet. Wow, Merit just managed to find a pick across the map with a fully charged Railgun. And that is the first point.
Yeah, it's Pelican actually trying to put some pressure onto RuPaul in the back line there, and just gets taken out by a kunai. So really nice play from RuPaul, as it'll be Toronto Defiant in control of the point first. Did you
see
sick
that?
long-range spear, yeah.
Like, Happy slid off the side of the wall and then went into the like little column there and got pinned. That was really strange. Physics. Right, Ultraviolet at least has got this rush at 10%. RuPaul, similarly. Someone is pressuring the point. I can imagine that is Pelican. Probably going to get checked in just a moment. You can see Merit in the bottom left of your screen there, kind of looking over towards it. There's both rushes coming in. It's Happy that's first to fall. Toronto Defiant mean business now as they push Hawk through Kitchen. Force that over health from, not over health, sorry, just the additional armor from the Fortify. There's a cap as well. So Pelican wasn't really in this fight, just looked to find the flip. 8%. Toronto still end up recapping though, so 8% lost, I suppose, for Toronto there.
Yeah, Pelican's just trying to like draw them back towards the point, but they don't really even care about it, right? They just kind of push on forward, get the kills, and then there's no way that Pelican's holding the point alone, right? So they just take him out on the exit. So a really good start here for the Defiant. It's been pretty dominant.
Pelican not want to burning the recall there. Was a little bit too scared of a fully charged railgun from Merit on the other side of things. Fly trying to make the cross. Merit pretty low. Hawk on the point. Contested by someone, but it's up to Merit now to try and just tip it in Toronto Defiant's favor. Liar. No way he escapes that one, unfortunately. Oh, that was a Hail Mary pulse one from Pelican. Worth the attempt, but unfortunately, you're going to face the wrath of RuPaul. A Terror Surge used by Hawk. Did end up killing Sugarfree, but this is really final fight now for Toronto Defiant. Someone is super low, has to back off. Almost got taken out there on the overextension.
Man, if Merit shoots like this, though, on the Sojourn, I mean, do whatever the hell you want on the other side. It's going to be very difficult to beat as Hawk goes over to the Doom here, just trying to get a touch.
Yeah, they do get the touch in the end. It wasn't Hawk, it was Pelican this time.
Be the Tracer.
Here comes the beats. Does hit 5, but Vega and RuPaul have got ults. Seems like an easier, later beat and a better beat from Vega. And they can also lay down the rush. Lies 1 HP. They still have to manage to juggle the point here. You can see Happy ascending to the high ground. He's got a good overview of someone in the rest of the fight. But, I mean, shooting someone is great and all, but you're just fully armored up. Like, you hit that you hit the armor and you're not going to go down. Like, this Fortify is just so frustrating for the Sojourns to find damage in, and then as soon as that wore off, oh, Terror Surge, now you just can't kill me. Happy was in a good spot to try and take over the game, but it is Toronto Defiant. 108%, might as well have been 0 for that first round.
Yeah, I mean, Toronto looked awesome there in the mirror. Really, I was kind of questioning it, but that is a pretty strong comeback there at the start for the Defiant, as it looks like now potentially here on this next point. Sightline's a little bit, I know you want to play in like that medium like range on the point, so this is a really good Cassidy. Combo that with the Baptiste here. Look here for the Defiant is for M80 thus far, it'll probably be Pelican switching the Tracer, and they'll keep the Kiriko here with the Cassidy.
Okay. Yeah, there's been a lot of discussion over the last few weeks about the Kiriko versus the Bat, like Cass versus Soj, etc. Especially on this point, the Bat feels so good. Like, the angles you can get on the windows are just so nasty. Plus the lamp, you can hide it behind a lot of these big pillars as well. It's very hard to take down unless you take a small little off angle, which can be very frustrating to kind of deal with at times. But when you've got people like Merit on your side with almost triple dinking Happy across the map, it can be pretty easy to deal with those pesky people looking to make some
It's just so sick with the Cassidy as well, right? Like, Cassidy already is really difficult to take out as Vega falls here first, but then with obviously the damage reduction that Cassidy gets, plus the immortality field, the healing of the Baptiste, the Reese is already difficult to deal with as well. It's very hard to dislodge both of them.
Good shots coming out from Merit.
It's already a Deadeye.
Got a Deadeye coming out. Oh, did get speared. A little jump spear there from Hawk, but that's pretty much all CD's used. They'll come up a bit quicker now, though, with Ultraviolet using this rush on the point. And with Merit dead, where's the damage for Toronto? I mean, they've got the window, yes, but look, M80. They're just going to push on through it. Pulse bomb for Sugarfree. Looking for Liar, who's in trouble, struggling to get away from the Tracer. Oh, Pulse bomb, alley-up over the wall. Didn't end up getting anything. And Happy just rolls back into the scene. And a headshot Sugarfree. Still trying to define are holding on, but for how much longer is really the question. There we go. Hawk pushing someone off the point, and then Pelican does the dirty work.
Bro, he would have connected with that pulse bomb. Oh my lord, that would have been wild. Just chucking it over up and over the wall there, just trying to hit the Curie is teleporting back to the Lucio there. So I do get a little bit of a take there for the Defiant, but like you mentioned, as soon as they lose Merit, it's very difficult to kind of like, hold on to that point as everybody for M80 kind of comes back. You have the Cassidy in the mix, and the damage that Happy puts down, it's just, there's no response.
High Noon getting sped forwards. Uh-oh, who's on the side? It's Merit. Caught out. His team went one way, he went the other. Now High Noon splitting off both sides. Very unfortunate stuff. Quick reset though for Toronto. They know they can just go again. Don't want to fight without him.
Yeah, smart play though. They rush in with that Deadeye. They get the speed boost behind it. That kind of separates some players as they're all trying to hide. Turns the corner, Hendrick grenade, and then just finishing off the Cassidy on the opposite side. So it'll be Defiant now trying to push this yet again. RuPaul gets low. They'll heal him back up as you'll have both support ults. So look for them to set Merit up in a pretty good spot with the Sand Matrix.
It's such a nice angle to get it on as well. Just pop it down. There it is. Hawk just running through it, though. Almost preempting it. Light does hit the sound barrier. Does hit 4, but Mary is actually the first to fall. Both Terror Surge being thrown into the mix. Can Toronto Defiant just hold on to someone right now? He does end up going down, but it's all up to the DPS. That focus fire at the very end of the fight from M80 was good to take down the tank, but
RuPaul killed like half the team.
Then RuPaul and Sugar Free just decimating the rest.
Yeah, I mean, up on the high ground there, RuPaul and the Baptiste, you're so worried about some of that damage that Marinco are putting down someone as well. With that Terror Surge, RuPaul just goes unanswered up on the high ground, and that's going to have Ultraviolet. Be like, man, that looks fun. Let me go play the Baptiste as well. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
All right, big rotation. Throwing the Terracotta Bap skin as well. Mad respect, one of the best Bap skins. See if he can stand up to RuPaul's. High Noon, post bomb for Toronto Defiant. Sugar Free trying to line these ones up. All this High Noon for around the corner. Ain't got to worry about a lamp right now if you're Sugar Free. There's a little bit of damage too. Hindenade and a couple of headshots flung at Hawk. That's a lot of cooldowns already used in the Orisa. You can see him trying to back off now. Post bomb on the 4 for Sugar Free. No kills, but a lot of damage and a lot of separation too. 71% for Toronto Defiant, chasing away the rest of M80 who've got one final attempt here.
Yeah, and they're going to be walking right into this Amp Matrix yet again. You can set it up here now for the Defiant. It seems like M80, they want to get aggressive, right? We see Hawk, constantly kind of like push on in, and it's working a little bit for M80, but now going straight through that Amp Matrix is going to be very costly in terms of the HP pools.
Deadeye looks like they want to take main this time around. Little speed boost. Spear ends up landing on Hawk there. Nice little tank by the Orisa. Can they end up flipping the script? Oh my, Ultraviolet. He just crumbled. Same with Happy. Oh my god, that window was instant. The kills just came through in a blink of an eye. There was no time to react with a lamp. And I mean, that's Toronto Defiant taking map number 1. 2 rounds under their belt. And that'll do it.
That is a fast 2 rounds. It feels like as that is both Amp Matrices like almost dropped like right on each other in the same exact spot. And as soon as they go down, it feels like M80 loses like what 2-3 players. It's Toronto. We were all kind of, I think everybody mostly on the M80 train. This Toronto looks really good after map 1.
Yeah, looking real good. Although Control can go either way. We do sometimes see the weaker of the 2 teams end up taking that one, but neither of these teams are weak, that is for sure. Let's have a look at some...
A fluke game mode, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, fraudulent game mode is sometimes what I call it.
Damn.
Hey, sometimes Control can be a little bit wacky. Just saying.
No, I don't believe you.
That's it? You don't believe me? No sources to back it up?
Yeah, I just don't. Nah, I know Jake feels the same way I do.
Okay, are you sure?
Same with...
You asked him?
Same with Johnny. Yeah, absolutely. We talk about it all the time.
Yeah, I bet you discuss Control in depth on the weekends.
Me and Jake, we text a lot about Control on the weekends.
You talk about that stuff, huh? That's crazy. I never knew you were tight like that. All right, okay.
Yeah, sometimes I'll just text him and be like, hey, what's your thoughts on Control again? Still the same?
Still the same.
Like, yep.
Weekly check-in with Matt and Jake. God, what a terrible segment that would be. My word, thank God we're not running that.
Wow, that's quite mean.
All right, some highlights to...
Could be worse. It could be, let's see what's in Jaws' fish tank
hey, that's
today.
cool, man. You see some plants growing, see the fish doing their own thing. They're little homies, bro.
Yeah, handful of goldfish and some weeds.
Goldfish and weeds. They're not goldfish, nor are they weeds. They're plants that I paid money for. All right, here are the stats from that map.
Man, this is that is representative of a blowout, right? I mean, that is just Toronto just kind of mowing down M80. Where it feels like maybe there's a little bit more on the line, so to speak, for Toronto, right? I know M80, they win the other day. They're starting to talk a little bit, feel themselves, where you just want to kind of like shut them up if you're the Defiant, I think.
Yeah, it's exactly what you want to do. You just want to dust your hands off with that last game and jump into this one. Just a straight 4-0 is what I imagine that they're looking for.
Yeah.
That finals, that ticket to Dallas already locked in for both teams, of course, already. Playing for a lot of prize money, a lot of extra prize money. So Toronto Defiant and M80 looking to secure that one. And that, #1 seeding in NA, too. Let's listen to the winning comms at the end of that round, though. Let's hear how Toronto Defiant are feeling.
Okay. Secure, we won. Caretaker. You're really soon. Hover ball. What? Sure. Wait, J. Nice. That's the difference right there between first place and second place.
Oh, that's the difference right there between first and second place. Oozing with confidence.
Let him know. If this was COD, everybody be going crazy right now, right? Everybody be ready to throw hands after a comment like that. But no, we're calm here. No Overwatch. We saw this. We saw Midtown the other day between these two teams, where it was Toronto taking it in the end. Against M80, 2-1. It was a pretty close map. This is actually the one map that Toronto actually does end up taking. It kind of came down to the wire. So we'll see if any adjustments made off of the other day's game.
Yeah, I'll have to wait and see. Oh, they're running with the Ash look. A little bit more popular as of late. Long range hit scan with a lot of dynamite potential, especially on the choke points. Is really nice. Plus Bob also helps you win some quite peculiar team fights. If they end up breaking down into chaos, Bob can be a big deciding factor.
Yeah, we've seen teams run it, when it's run successfully. Toronto tried this the other day. I don't think it really worked out that well. We've seen teams run it with the Sigma instead of the Orisa, right? Because you can kind of like back into that corner. It's a little bit easier to protect the Ash in that type of situation, where that's kind of where we see some success with it. And then kind of like constant poking on the point, dynamite, chipping damage, allowing the Sigma to move up and take space.
That's kind of the same role of the cast in that regard, especially if you're against someone like an Orisa, where you're just kind of like getting as many headshots as you possibly can, force the CDs. Against the Sigma, like you mentioned, dynamite over the top of the shield, a lot of AoE damage, because more often than not, you're kind of grouped up, just kind of rotate with the Sigma. We're jumping into a brief pause. Looks like someone DC'd, so hopefully we'll get them back into the game in just a moment. But Midtown, yeah, definitely one of my favorite like new additions to the game. But here you go. What's the best meal?
What's the best meal to eat before a match?
Okay, Matt, what's your thinking?
I mean, you get a little penne vodka in your system, and you start just dunking on people. That's kind of the way to go. What about you?
What?
I feel like you're a little a dino nuggie type of guy. Dino nuggies before.
They would go kind of hard actually.
Get some microwave dino nuggies before your match, and you're ready to go.
Crazy on the dino nuggies, actually. Dude, you know it. I mean, honestly.
Well, wait, what is your actual meal, though? Is it dino nuggies?
No. I actually think I perform better doing things in general when I'm a little bit hungry, so normally just a banana. I don't know. It's that hunger, like primal instinct, when primal man needed food, and that what you need to do to survive was hunt, like that kind of thing. I don't know if that translates well into this kind of lit field of work, but maybe just a banana. Get some calories in it.
Yeah, make sure you're not not fishing in your own fish tank. I mean, that can't be doing that.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. First time that joke has ever been made. Huge one. No, it's not. Like, what is?
Oh.
Sometimes I don't know about you, man. I worry about you actually. All right, M80 on the attack.
I don't. I'm good.
If you say so. Happy with the rotation to this mega health pack room. Really well isolated for the rest of his team. Really early recall from Sugar Free 2, maybe fearing that magnate somewhat. Someone diving into Hawk's front line. Requires the lamp to try and get away, but a massive overextension by someone there.
Yeah, I don't know how he planned on staying alive, where it looks like actually RuPaul and Merritt end up in the subway car pushed back. You see the kind of outline there. It's Vega in the choke as well, as everybody just splits up there from the Defiant. So I believe the defense the other day wasn't really spectacular either with this type of comp, where M80 was able to kind of come in and take it. So same result as today.
Oh, at least it was a quick wipe-ish, so they're able to get forward spawns and the high ground. So that's something, I suppose. That's what you got to tell yourself. It's summon. Get a quick reset. Flux is so close for Hawk though already. It's going to take a hell of a spear to knock that one out of the air.
Just control this area with the Sigma so well, right? I mean, what does someone do? Like, to close that gap, you're going to have to use all your cooldowns, especially with the Cassidy on the other side. Is Hawk getting close to a gravitic flux there? Just kind of constantly putting damage down from the high ground.
Yeah, Pelican's got a pulse spot as well, ready and raring to go. Same with Sugar Free. Oh, Sugar Free got the better of Pelican though. A little differential there. Now they can really try and... Not sure they're going to be able to get any staggers. The amount of CC, you don't really want to step up again if you're someone. Yeah, decides better of it. All good. Good shot.
I love how Pelican plays. There is no thought on backing out of that fight. He's like, one of us is going to die here. And I think most of the time you'll take your chances if you're Pelican. But that time, Sugar Free does get the better as someone dodges the accretion. You see they're just trying to have Pelican, like, maybe see if he can move the cart a little bit, put a little bit more pressure here on the Defiant.
That's a very aggressive window. Look at that. From RuPaul, just taking that high ground. Bob in the back line as well. Supplement some of that damage. Merritt and RuPaul just jumping on to the enemy high ground, pretty much put the window down, and then Merritt just launches Bob. M80 having to look at
that is filthy
17
stuff.
different ways to try and deal with that. Oh, Happy on Widow. Is he going to stick with this?
Yep.
He is, yes. Good stuff. I really enjoyed Happy's Widow the other day.
Yeah, we saw this the other day.
Exactly.
They ended up bringing out the Widowmaker. We saw some Zenyatta play, I believe, from both these teams the other day as well. As started to get a little bit crazy, but that was a really aggressive and really awesome use of that Amp Matrix from RuPaul. Gets up on the high ground there, has Merit, and just really, I think it kind of catches M80 off guard.
I really like the way Toronto Defiant are going to respond to this Widow pick. It's very hard to get angles if they're holding this close, and then look at RuPaul's positioning too. He's above them as they walk in. Not only additional damage, but so hard to kind of take down. Here's the window. It's going to get met with a lamp and a rally from Toronto Defiant. Well, that overhealth kind of building up over time now as they try and force RuPaul to drop down from this height on the top right. Here comes the rally. Terror Surge in for M80. Liar isolated alone in the sidelines. Spear dodged. Happy dead. Dynamite and a pulse bomb thrown in. M80 just surrounded by Toronto Defiant. They end up killing Merritt. This has to be a clean couple of kills here. They cannot afford for any more people to go down. And in fact, it's Pelican coming up with 2 kills in that fight.
Yeah, and it looked like they may have tried to chase actually Pelican out there for a second just to see if they can pick up the kill on the Tracer to give themselves a little bit more time to get everybody back at full strength. But when you push that deep, what sightlines does this Widowmaker have, right? It just becomes very difficult for, Happy to kind of create that space and distance that you would need on Widow to be effective.
Yeah, that was annoying. Little spear. Yeah, now Happy's got a lot more space afforded to him. But Toronto Defiant aren't disrespecting me in any way. Just not willing to peek some of these angles. I mean, even the Tracer here. No, yeah, Sugar Free not peeking his head down into the car wash area. And now sights come in. Up for 15 seconds. That's down at 125.
They're going to give up high ground here probably because of this infosight, right? You're not going to kind of like push up here and contest, but... Oh, that's a huge pick there.
That's a big bob, though, on the high ground. However, RuPaul and Vega ends up going down. No supports left for Toronto Defiant. Sugar Free and someone still picking up kills. In fact, forcing Hawk to use the Flux. Are they going to have the damage ready to follow up on this? Depends how many cooldowns someone has. No, they are not. Sugar Free taking down Happy. Yeah, and Sugar Free just solo holding this point right now on the Tracer.
Well, and someone actually took out both supports there for M80, so you're going to have the close response with the defense, obviously, is a sick stick there from Sugar Free. So that is going to allow Toronto to hold and take high ground. And Jules, you're nearing this last fight territory now as Happy moves over to the Sojourn, and then Hawk going to play the Orisa here. So what's pretty bad here is the M80 is going to be walking in. You can drop this Amp Matrix. It's not going to be as aggressive as the last time, right? Because there's no way to access that high ground like with the Cassie as opposed to the Ashe. But still, you can make it pretty costly coming on in. You get one pick there. You're at like 20 seconds left. This half is over.
20 seconds to go already. Hindenade on Happy, who's using this window on this high ground. Taking a leaf out of Toronto Defiant's book. M80 closing in on this overtime. 15 seconds to go. Window for RuPaul. Happy to take the tool against the man himself. And this is disastrous now, especially with this lamp going down. I mean, someone Terror Surge on. Do the gritty on him. Do it. M80 just going to get wiped. Gallop. And Toronto Defiant holding before that second point. This is the Toronto that we expected to see against M80 yesterday.
Yeah, no, it might be a little bit of kind of there's levels, right? And they're like, okay, fine, we lose a upper final, but once we get to that grand final, we're a completely different beast there as Toronto stops M80 before they're able to get that second checkpoint. So Really, all the pressure now on M80 on defense. Have a good first point hold.
Be rather tough on defense. Is Pelly going to go the Torb? Is my question here. It works out pretty well for them before. And Pelican's Torb is kind of nasty too. Very hard thing to kind of dive and even poke out.
It's just so annoying to deal with.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's just constantly just being a nuisance where look like maybe the Torb there for a second, but it will be Pelican on Tracer. So they'll run the Sigma on defense here to kick things off. The Sigma is also pretty good to control some of that high ground, that second point. And Toronto, I think they're totally fine matching it.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Toronto even come out with a Widow of their own. Of course, Merit's probably just going to spawn peek here to see if anybody's trying to get some early picks and early damage. Let's give Toronto a quick listening though for their attack.
But yeah, only Widow. Just no more count. Yeah. Let's go.
Sigma.
Big.
Sigma tray.
Cast. Cast. Oh, yeah.
Cast playing on point. Cast playing on point.
I'm gonna go left with you. I'm coming left. Coming left. We're taking space. Cast tray.
Solo. Okay.
Okay. We're changing him. Careful. I'm going. Wait, Sig one.
Take one.
Let's go left now.
Yeah. Walking left.
Get the man. Wait, they want to push, I think.
Yeah.
Push. No grenade. Wait, Sig one. Can me?
Still have.
Hop on. They had better lamp.
Don't have land. Okay. Oh. Okay, I'm low.
Hop on. Signal chip. Big low. Big. No grenade. Wait, Bremen.
Yeah.
Wait, they want to push me. You want to push me?
Again.
I'm good. You guys you can With go. Trade.
Guess one. Take one.
Wait, trade only.
Chigon.
봐봐.
Yeah.
캐선. I'm good.
Take one.
We're back. Dirty over top here. My plus. We working in my plus. Okay.
Yeah. Cast here. Guess one.
Take your top box. I know.
Oh my god.
High Noon on Happy. Oh my, Happy getting that High Noon. Almost gifted into him. Pulse Bomb coming through from Sugar Free. Forces a lamp out of Ultraviolet and Laya, who are hiding in that Mega Health Pack room. Laya almost going down there as he bashes back into cover. But unfortunately, he's met with an extinction event level rock there from someone. However, look at this rally coming in from Laya.
Yeah, this is Rally. They like absolutely need to win this now. At this point, as the Rally's trying to keep everybody alive. You have Hawk, Pelican, and Liar still there.
Liar's dead.
So you might be able to hold this.
Oh, the slugs. Oh my word. It is just Pelican and Sugar Free at the very end. Sugar Free's one. Pelican can... Oh, no blinks. He had one blink left. And
yeah, this is a hold.
that was close. Sugar Free does... yeah, both Tracers have pulse bombs now. That was basically down to a 1v1.
Yeah, that was a wild fight. I also love the last comm we had was when someone was using the Flux lifting Happy up in the Deadeye was RuPaul going, oh my god. And then we just came back to us. I would have loved to know what came after that. That's going to be the Bob going in and a kill early on Ultraviolet. It's going to be both supports down.
Goodbye, Liar. Nice pulse bomb from Sugar Free. That'll be it. You got to imagine. 3 on, or maybe just 1 on. Just try and force people to get maybe another pick here. Of course, supporters have died, so damage is near permanent. But they're just going to back up. All good. Get the payload. With a minute to go. Double support of for Toronto Defiant too. They've got to take this high ground fast, man. They can do with that giant shield, that giant shield bash too. So very frustrating to deal with the close quarters.
Yeah, and remember on defense, right? I think it'll be a little bit different, but how aggressive they got with the Amp Matrix plus Ashe combo up there on the high ground. Potential to do that again here, but this time from the offensive side to give them some space to get that payload to a spot where really they just need one fight to get it to a very close to actually complete it. Are they using the same spot?
Aggro window as well this time. Oh, Merit just throwing out bullets directly towards M80. Wow, he's just tanking frontline. Same with RuPaul. Someone wasn't there to like tank bullets and push shield. That RuPaul just dived down to the lower health portions of the subway. Just got taken out.
I mean, you rarely see an Ashe push into that position, especially. Also, you have the Baptiste there as well. So both those players get taken out, and yeah, maybe they thought there was like a kinetic grasp or someone was going to be in position. Maybe they thought they were all going to be on the same page and move forward in that way, but definitely not the case. Now you're going to have, it looks like Sugar Free trying to move the payload, but Pelican goes there to contest.
Sugar Free's got control of that mega health pack and can receive a few packs too. Well, there's the High Noon in the Flux. Any skulls in sight? Well, Pelicans now is scattered on the floor. Sugar Free deals with it.
That's quite big though. Like, they're going to be able to move the payload off of this, right? Where, yeah, see, they have to back up and respect this. And look how close it is to just pushing into victory.
Bob's huge too. Oh, it did get whip-shotted away. Flux comes in, catches Merit, and he ends up going down. Hawk's going to put himself on the payload, so no one can touch it. That window's going to be large and in charge. Pappy can use it. However, the rally might just be too much for them to really deal with. 2.8 meters to go now. Sugar Free tries to distract Happy long enough for his frontliners to walk this one in. But it is a pulse bomb and a kill from Pelican, which will make sure M80 stay alive, at least for now.
Yeah, the bomb was knocked off course. It was supposed to kind of hit that wall right before that second checkpoint and then stop there and be like a little bit of a backstop. It would have made it really difficult to get on through, but it gets knocked off course, gets sent all the way out and kind of in the middle of nowhere. So that ends up having that ultimate really result in just about nothing. Pretty huge play there from Lyre.
Oh, winner from RuPaul can do pretty much the same thing again if he wants to. Shove on this high ground, although M80 don't quite have the same level of presence anymore. Happy almost going down to RuPaul's just left clicks there.
Looked like he was thinking about dropping it there in that doorway potentially. As looks like M80 wants to push up here.
They're going to try to. Oh, fan the hammer through the window. You love to see that. A lot of that damage was absorbed by Hawk's grasp though. Sugar Free and Pelican still duel in the lower streets. Happy falls though. 4v5 now for Toronto Defiant. A Flux in someone's sights. He's only 5% away, and with a high ground advantage, and with Hawk under a lot of pressure, a lamp is forced out, and here's the Flux. Oh, it missed, but it doesn't really matter in the end. There is a nice little Magne kill there from Merit, and there is the payload completion from Toronto Defiant. Starting off the series strong, a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, really close game yet again, but Toronto Defiant come out on top as someone's Flux doesn't really get anything towards the end, but just the amount of pressure they put on Hawk once they actually get rid of Happy on the other side. Merrick comes up with that kill. They just push on through. Immortality Field's gone in seconds. You take out that Sigma, and it's GG after that.
It's GG's, and this is the map, like you mentioned before, Matt, that was won by Toronto the other day versus M80 in that upper bracket final. Of course, here in the grand finals, Toronto looking like a completely different beast. You're saying, oh, because, yeah, New Queen Street.
New Queen Street.
Yeah, that is
okay. We talked about how we haven't seen New Queen Street. Yeah, so we'll talk about that in just a bit. But talking about this map in particular, Toronto, yet again, this time they bring out the Ashe, right? A little bit more range than the Cassidy, but I mean, with the way Merit's playing, he's just so aggressive, right? Moving in with someone, and RuPaul just being able to just put down so much damage with those dynamites, and then just kind of like following up. It just makes it so much easier for everybody to secure the rest of these kills. I mean, that is just a sick aim there from RuPaul on the Baptiste. I mean, what a fantastic first two maps for him.
Yeah, RuPaul using the windows like super aggro. I really like it. And sometimes you have to be selfish with the Baptiste as well. You don't have to wait for your like Cassidy or whoever you have in your team. You can sometimes just pop up yourself. You do enough damage as the Bap. Just throw some healing nades through there if you really need to, if you already top up your team, whatever, right? But if you got aim like that, you can do anything. There's some stats for you for the end of that map. Pretty even-ish. Like, it's tipping in Toronto's favor, of course, because they ended up winning, but no like giant anomalies here.
No, I mean, nothing crazy, right? Like the limbs, obviously, a way higher. It's like, kill participation, don't really have the number on terms of final blows, but you just see here, like the 6 deaths, matching each other on the Cassidy, but, Merit getting the best of Happy in this series today. And I think probably one of the biggest difference makers the other day was how good Happy and Pelican were.
Man, look at that. Eliminations, deaths the same, but 21-7 in the Cassidy head-to-head between Merit and Happy. I mean, Happy can play pretty much everything. I think Pelican can as well, but they haven't got the tools right now, clearly, to really bring to the table what Toronto Defiant are also bringing.
Yeah, and I wonder with New Queen Street, this is actually picked by M80 if they have any type of, different strategy or different look they want here. I believe the other day we saw, I think it was Coliseo off the top of my head, between these two teams. Yes, it was Coliseo. M80 ended up winning Coliseo. So instead of going back to that again, we get a new map selection here. So would lead me to believe maybe some kind of strategy or comp they want to play.
I'll have to wait and see. Yeah, because I could only think I could count on one hand, right, with the times we've seen New Queen Street. It hasn't been often. Most teams preferring Esperanza or Coliseo, like you were mentioning. So see what M80 have to bring to the table in this regard. Looks like no BAP, just Kiriko, Soj for both sides.
Yeah, so nothing really too special. I mean, this is probably what we would have saw on Coliseo as well. So I think what you're looking at here for Toronto is keep riding this hot hand of Merit. I mean, we've seen, when he is on hit scan, one of the best players, if not the best hit scan player, in the world. And when he's feeling it, especially right now, you kind of keep him on these heroes. Cassidy, Ash, the Sojourn as well. It just feels like a matter of time before he's going to land one of these shots.
Don't want to get speared or booped off the edge, though. Got to be a little bit cautious of that one, too. So someone just got, quad boop. Boop, boop, boop. Very frustrating. Ends up backing all the way up. You can see the presence from M80. Really standing up here. Happy using the slide, dipping behind the statue so he doesn't get one-tapped out of midair. All right, bot's moving, too. M80 in control, but Perma holding the stairs is exactly what someone's going to try and do, and then maybe retreat back to this little high ground, this little shop on the left-hand side of RuPaul if they do end up losing it past this section.
Yeah, M80 definitely feels like the more aggressive team throughout this series, right? It always seems like, Hawk and Co moving forward, right? Maybe some rotations out for Toronto as Toronto doesn't want to take as many fights, just the good fights.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need to take that many, but as long as they're good, you're good. Oh, liar. Caught unawares there by the looks of it. Merit does end up going down to the kunais of Ultraviolet, which looks like they might get away. No, Vega's going to follow that one up with a swift boot.
Yeah, it just seems like Toronto just postures for the perfect time, when they have their cooldowns, they've, got a thing or two out of the other side, and they're so good at capitalizing on that, where M80 constantly trying to push forward, right? I know everybody pushing forward, keeping that tempo up.
Pulse bomb for Pelican. Sugarfree's not far away either. Talk about how tough it is to get pulse bomb kills, let alone quad kills. Not quad kill. Quad kill would be ridiculous, so he multi-kills. Pulse bomb for Pelican, goes a little wide. Terror Surge coming in.
Quad kill at this point is the entire team.
Yeah, exactly. Terror Surge for someone, tries to stay alive by the looks of it. Probably a connection from Pelican there with the pulse bomb that forced someone to do that. There we go. Lead for M80 as they push this bot around this corner. And this is it, right? Ideally, you want to hold in this small little window, Warbird's gym, you just kind of chill, and then just jostle control of the bot so it doesn't move any further, but unable to do that at Toronto, who has to play on this corner now.
Well, now you're going to have both overclocks available, right? Both overclocks, both sound barriers, so I think nice shot there on the Sugarfree. That's probably going to force recall, or at least a blink back to the health pack.
Yeah, heads up play, just knowing that potentially the Trace is looking to make a move onto the high ground. Sugarfree in the back lines now, and here comes the overclocks. Sound barrier pretty early from Vega as they try and chase down Happy. Just make him regret popping that up. Sound barrier later one from Liar is going to save Happy from a post bomb. And Merit goes down. Toronto Defiant didn't have the firepower to take down Happy and just end up losing out the health war with this later beat from Liar. And they're still moving the payload as well. So Toronto Defiant need to come up with something here, and they're just losing another one. They've laid down this rush map, but I'm not sure they're going to be able to win this fight.
No, as soon as the rush goes down, they end up losing their Lucio, right? So you don't really have that kind of speed in that position. They go all out for Happy, and M80 able to keep him alive using pretty much all of their resources to do so. Got hit with a pulse bomb, sound barrier comes in, able to keep him up. This time, Sugarfree finds the kill, though, on the Sojourn.
There's the kill that you want. Alrighty, no checkpoint either via M80. 6 minutes to go. New Queen Street moment. where they end up getting near to the checkpoint, then you flip, and then it's just like a perma hold of the bot around the center point. Hawk went down pretty late.
I feel like you're only really worried about giving up the checkpoint. Like, you know, if you're Toronto, like, sure, you gave up, you know, 55 meters, but like giving up that checkpoint's like when it starts to feel pretty brutal. And it's also where teams start to put together, you know, 20 plus meters every time they get the bot together, and it goes deeper and deeper into your territory, and it forces you to win more fights to even get back to that other side. So I think if you're Toronto, it's just like the focus on not giving up that checkpoint, right? So they're kind of like working back now towards the middle of the map potentially here to try and get a fight.
The time it takes you back to get back from spawn to an engagement is pretty slim too. A lot of long sight lines on this map, and this bot has to make a big like U-turn to try and get to the other side. M80, oh, nice spear. They're trying to push Merit off high ground. They're trying to punish him at least somewhat for taking height. Someone is making sure that doesn't happen, however, by just playing in the tunnel.
Yeah, Toronto, I feel like just playing a little bit slow, just trying to force out a mistake potentially from M80, you know, build up some of their ultimates, right? They're going to have, you know, double support ultimate. They're going to have all 5 here coming up, you know, just playing this type of patient play.
Yeah, I mean, Sugar Free's also just playing on these stairs, making sure the bot doesn't get stolen away by Pelican or anybody from M80 from that matter. It's just all about getting a kill. Oh, whoa, that was close.
This went from like a frenetic pace to now just like a snail's pace. Is the bot just kind of stuck in this position. I don't think Toronto wants to be the team that kind of like advances around the corner, but now they will, as Merit does have the overclock.
Trying to search for targets. Everybody's hiding from it.
Yeah, I think they thought they had Hawk. I think they thought they had Hawk split off in this room, but he got out.
Almost no CDs left. He's got one big one, though. That's the ults. Terrace doesn't find too much. Here comes the beat from Vega and from Liar. Trying to run down Merit, but Merit's more than safe in the front lines, but not for long. As Happy unleashes the overclock. A swift spear, though, does end up killing him. And with someone going super low, it's up to the Traces to try and secure these kills. It's Pelican and Hawk in the kill feed now. With Liar finishing up a kill onto Sugar Free, and Toronto Defiant lose control of the bots. M80 with a nice fight win, but they're not going to be able to get it too far at all.
No, both teams just push around the corner. Everybody's got their ultimates kind of out. Literally everything across the board used at one time. A little bit of a classic Overwatch fight. Everybody's saving up, and then everybody just kind of like dumping all these ultimates in. Now, yeah, you're not going to be able to get any progress though, right? If you're M80, you're just going to get the bot back, and that is a nasty shot there. I don't even know if that was a railgun shot. It looked like actually just kind of like just primary fire. Yeah, just a random bullet, you know, with some damage that comes in there from Vega that finishes off Ultraviolet. So pretty big pit.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time with Sojourns, you hit a body shot and then you just finish it off with the little bullets, or the other way around. Chunk them down a little bit, then just one shot. Pretty good at that now. All right, pole spawn for Pelican could be the difference maker for M80. He's got it already. Good stick. Where's the Suzu? There it is. Perfectly timed by RuPaul. Just tracking Pelican's pulse on pretty hard at the best of times, but making sure you have that up for any kind of dire emergency. Speaking of which, spot's been stolen.
Well, I think Toronto just gives up the space, right? They don't have the Suzu. They don't want to push in as Merit finds yet another one, man. As that's 2 fights in a row. Last time it was Ultraviolet. This time it was Liar.
They're going to try and get him. Terror Surge comes in. Suzu to get behind that corner, and Hawk just grabbed everybody in, but there was a little cubby that everybody could get around. And then as soon as that Terror Surge disappeared, pop right back in the corner, just dump all the damage in his head.
Oh, some staggers here
and
too.
It's
quite brutal. This is going to be checkpoint. So you see how patient they play. Like they don't mind, you know, giving up some space and whatnot, just getting the fight that matters to them. And then also when you have a hit scan player like Merit who can just find these one shots, just let him search for a little bit, right? I don't think they have any idea that someone's around this corner.
Or maybe they should have sniffed that one out. Happy, the target right now for Toronto Defiant. Oh, Pulse still gets the kill though. It'll do. They end up trading their Sojourns. Here comes the Terror Surge from someone. He's going to split up the team. Ultraviolet in a little bit of trouble. Has to use the Swift Step to get away. And someone happily accepting this 1v1 right now versus Hawk. Although getting the sound barrier late from Liar there did aid Hawk in getting that victory over the enemy Orisa. Still a checkpoint in 74 meters there for Toronto. A minute to go for M80, and that slow, patient style of play, like you were mentioning, is really paying dividends now.
And I think for M80, this is like a must-win fight coming up, right? You lose this fight, the bot goes all the way back towards your territory. You're in like 20 seconds left, and then you got to run the bot back, you know, probably 2-3 fights in a row to be able to take it. Still no checkpoint for M80 as this is a must-win fight, probably a must-win map as well.
Add another one to the books. Oh, that overclock narrowly grazing Vega there. However, checkpoint.
They'll get checkpoint. Yeah.
Achieved by M80.
Yeah, that feels worth it, right?
Oh, both Lucio's going down. Vega trying to rejoin the rest of the team. Didn't realize Happy had a fully charged railgun. They're going to be able to push up, but the spawns are so close.
Yeah, Sugar Free's building this pulse bomb, and then Merit also building up here towards his own overclock. So 2 big ultimates coming online for the Defiant as M80 backs out. They don't want to fight up in that, you know, towards the high ground.
This might be a free kill for the Tracer. He sees Happy in his sights, but has to hit the recall. Too much damage was incoming there, and with Merit dead, they cannot let this checkpoint go. This lead even. Someone puts himself on the point. Disruptor shot on top. The damage from Sugar Free is good. The pulse bomb needs to connect. There's the Suzu. Now's your chance. Pulse bomb on the wall, but he can't quite get it. Vega and someone end up falling over, and Merit from the high ground. He needs to find kills. There's the lead taken, and M80 aren't out of this just yet.
No, as they clutch up in the final seconds there on New Queen Street. And it was really, I think, that kill onto the Lucio there from Happy that kind of opened things up. Has to use the overclock to do it. But then Hawk also finds Merit as well, right? Without that Sojourn in that final fight to kick off. Huge advantage for M80.
I mean, Sugar Free had a chance to get the pulse bomb, but he was looking at Happy the whole time. Like, if I get the pulse on the Soj, maybe she hits the slide before the Suzu comes in, or maybe I can just grab that kill or get Suzu out of the Kiriko. But the rest of Happy's team was looking at Sugar Free, chunked them out, and he couldn't quite get to the Soj, had to hit the recall, rejoin the fight late, and it was all over.
Yeah, someone takes like a ton of damage as well because the Kitsune Rush actually comes out a little bit earlier there from Ultraviolet than RuPaul. RuPaul is still kind of like working up to it at the time. I think it was like 97%. So he gets down quite low as I'll take a look at some of the highlights of, you know, Protect the President here from M80, trying to use everything to keep Happy alive.
And you got to, the Sojourns especially, like, got to keep your carry alive, man. Tracers can do it themselves. Sojourns need a little help with only that single bit of mobility in that power slide. Good stuff. Very patient play for Toronto Defiant, but clutch factor for M80 showing up in a big way here. It was that random kill onto Ultraviolet, which kind of spun it.
Yeah, not even a railgun shot.
Toronto Defiant's favor.
Yeah, just primary fire straight down the subway as that's a railgun shot as it looked like. I mean, it's a huge map, right? You lose that one if you're M80. You find yourself down 0-3. Don't like your odds coming back from that, right? So to kind of keep yourselves in the series pretty much in the grand finals, absolutely needed that to go your way.
Very close match in terms of stat line as well. Like you said, yeah, Toronto Defiant. If you're down 3-0 versus them, that's got to knock your mental a little bit, but M80 coming back pretty strong. Is the Sojourn head-to-head. 12-12, 5-5, 9.6 to 9.7, 2.4 to 2.4.
Yeah, I mean, Toronto Defiant in a map loss with a 2.8 KD, right? Just showing like not really taking a ton of fights, really. Just kind of taking the ones that they absolutely know that they'll win. So, New Junk City up next. We've seen a lot of Suravasa as well. So some different maps here in our final.
Yeah, this is okay. It's pretty exciting. Not every day do we see New Junk City. It feels like, yeah, a lot of teams just opt in for Suravasa. Fits the style of the play, or just like in general one of the favored maps in the map pool. Very small still, Flashpoint that is. Yeah, I mean, we'll see if Happy can kind of do similar things here on the Sojourn. Like, it was the kill onto Lucio, I mean, careening through the air. You see in Vega, like, looking at Happy, like, oh, okay, I'm dead. Like, you just know that's happening. Like, sometimes you got to take those risks, sometimes you got to get to the rest of your team, but I'm rather unlucky from Vega at the very end. M80 with that W. Let's listen in to the winning comms, those final few moments from that map.
Come. Come here. Come here we go. Walk. Push. Wrist now. Kill me on me. Yeah, princess. They have Sojourn. Carry beat. Lucio. Alois.
Tracer.
Touch one.
Touch.
Nice.
Yeah?
Nice job.
Good job.
Good
job, guys. Good shit. Nice job. That's a good warm up.
Something at the very end, they're breathing a sigh of relief, wiping the sweat off their brow.
Yeah.
Holy, that was close. Down to the wire, like OT approaching kind of thing, and then, you know, you've got to win that fight. You've got to be perfect there.
Well, you know, that's the series, right? I mean, you don't win that fight there. They're not saying they can't come back, beat from 0-3. You'd say it's highly unlikely, though, at that point. So the series really kind of holds in the balance there with that fight. So it's the map, it's the series. I know, don't obviously know off the top of my head how the circuit points are right now, but maybe even like seeding potentially, right? Knowing that type of thing. So a lot on the line there with just that fight. So M80 definitely needed to pull it out, and you can kind of hear the urgency of the call.
Yeah, screaming one character will get them to die quicker. That's a tip you can take to your ranked games. There you go. Yeah, M80 and Toronto Defiant now going to New Junk City, like you were mentioning, Matt, is Toronto Defiant's map choice. I mean, are we going to see... Well, we've seen a lot of, like, Rush in EU. Doubtful that's going to be played here. Probably just Orisa stacking, like, makes the most sense to me. I wonder if we're just going to see Cassidy's. After what Happy did on the Sojourn, though, I wouldn't be too surprised to see him stick on there.
I think that's going to be the biggest thing that you're going to see the difference of. Is like, okay, is it going to be Cassidy? Is it going to be Sojourn? I think also, like, depending on Cassidy or Sojourn also changes the support, right? You know, is it Kiriko? Is it Baptiste, right? I don't think you're going to see... Look, Lucio is always going to be around, right? I know you're always one balance patch away from like a Winston meta, right? With the way things are. Then also Orisa, obviously extremely strong. So I think you're going to see, you know, Orisa, Tracer, Lucio, pretty standard, right? And then depending on the map and depending on the size and where the fights are, you'll end up getting either the Cassidy or the Sojourn.
Well, let's have a look. New Junk City is the map. As we load on in. Fourth map of the series thus far. Going to escort control and escort again if we really need it here in the grand finals of OWCS Stage 2 main event. Of course, both teams, if you've only just joined us, where have you been, first off? But both teams have locked their place in at Dallas already. An extra bit of prize money, plus maybe some additional like seeding things might end up going down depending on who wins here. 15 seconds to go as we unlock the gates.
We didn't account for the birthday Lifeweaver pick
so
here.
So true, King.
Potentially.
Yep. Not happening though, I don't think. No. I would say, apart from Rack, no one is going to be hopping on that Lifeweaver train just yet.
To really reinforce the lore for like the birthdays, they should just do like double damage on their birthdays whenever.
How would that reinforce the lore?
Because everybody becomes stronger on their birthday.
Is that true? Are you lifting double at the gym? What am I saying? You don't go to the gym.
Yeah, on my birthday, absolutely. I make sure I go on my birthday.
Only on your birthday. Heard it here first. Once a year for Mats. Nice little early push from Toronto Defiant. Want to keep up that pressure. Sugar Free on the Genji, so very different looks. Genji's so good recently, and I've really liked players picking up the pick. Because a lot of the time, it forces the sound barrier out of the Lucio, which has been basically the key ultimate to a lot of these fight wins. Who can use the better beat? And normally it's kind of forced out by the Genji team. Point has been capped by M80, but looks like Ultraviolet caught off. But M80 decides, you know what? If you take our BAP, we'll take yours.
Well, it makes the Lucio have like a choice, right? As a Pelican, I mean, just going crazy here. The Genji forces a choice, right? Do you beat the Blade or do you beat the, you know, whether there's like an overclock on the other side, right? Or, you know, this time, yeah, it's the enemy beat. So M80, I think their comp with the Tracer is just like a little bit more consistent, right? You know, the Genji needs to kind of get in, the dash resets, you got to do some damage down early to make it work, where the Tracer, I mean, as you see in that last fight, right? Pelican can kind of go off on his own and just make crazy plays.
God, Merit landing a swift headshot there onto Pelican, who's almost got a pulse bomb, all that damage he did last fight. Here we go. Ring around the Rosie. Pockets full of pulse bombs, as Pelican looking to insert that somewhere. Hopefully in the back line of Toronto Defiance. Oh, good shot of the lamp. Can they get any additional damage though? Got to stand up tall now, someone. You've got a lot to deal with in the front line. This window looking rather scary. And Merit and Vega already dead. And it's overtime on this point. Someone's got a touch for Toronto Defiant. They do manage to get it, but that does leave everybody isolated on the high ground. It is someone meeting a swift demise at the hands of Pelican. That pulse bomb eventually used as M80 claim that first point.
And I think Toronto would actually probably want to swap and mirror what M80 is doing on their side, but you have this blade now, right? So you're not just going to give the blade up for nothing. So feels like you have to use it here. And then I'm curious, do they kind of switch off the Genji and maybe even bring a Sojourn, or do they kind of keep going forward with this?
Yeah, maybe we'll see. I mean, this blade to force the beat, I mean, there's no beat, right? You force the lamp and then you maybe go in with a sound barrier of your own. Ideally, you don't lose sound barrier. You want to just win this fight with one ult, that being the blade, ideally. Have a look, Sugar Free.
Forces recall.
Zed, he wants to get in there. There's the blade, it's been pulled. Ultraviolet laying down that lamp. He hasn't got a dash anymore. And with that giant Terror Surge, nice little reflect kill on the Hawk, in fact, just shot himself basically there. That Terror Surge split up the team, and his Ultraviolet is still taking names on this high ground. Happy, oh dear, shot too many times in that deflect. He decides, yeah, I'll just reset myself, not a problem, we've lost the fight anyway.
Yeah, he was like, eventually this is going to run out, or he just kind of resets himself, just says, okay, you know, screw it, end up falling. As, man, the flashpoints tick up so fast. I mean, this next one, you're going to kick off this fight, it's going to be like 50% already for the Toronto Defiant. So M80, really, you're going to have what, like, you know, one, maybe two fights here, you know, with a chance to flip this one back.
2 windows available too. M80 and Toronto Defiant, a little bit more deadly for M80s. One fully charged railgun behind that window is a death sentence. Oh, Lion dead first though. Okay, not good. Drupal does end up getting traded. Look at that damage from the Orisa through that window. Pretty terrifying. Even at the best of times. 95%. Toronto Defiant. It's a pretty scrappy trade. Here's the duel of the century now. Orisa versus Orisa. Thank God it was over for its side. Someone takes care of Hawk, and that will be the point for Toronto.
Yes, someone does have some help there with Vega, as they kind of displace Hawk, just kind of moving all around, as gets hit with a spear as well. So it'll be the Toronto Defiant kind of staying with this Genji, so getting some value out of it. That time we saw Sugar Free with the blade, the deflect, just causing lots of chaos there for the backline of M80. He's going to probably have another opportunity here for a really clean blade, and M80 actually, they'll have Ultraviolet end up playing the Kuriko here, so no immortality field to work with.
Happy. I mean, that was the easiest shot onto Merritt, who was just standing there, but it was the spear that connected. Oh my god, it's so funny watching the Cassidys just get flung back. Completely canceling the ultimate, sadly. Here comes the sound barrier from M80. Yeah, that's going to force a complete disengage for Toronto Defiant. Very, very...
But aren't you okay with this,
Yeah,
though?
I feel like you're pretty good. You don't lose anybody. You've lost the point, sure, but look how many ults you've got to come back in with. I mean, Happy's already dead. Do you even need them, really? Got to put a little bit of pressure on the point. That's exactly what they're going to do, is... They're just going to get run down. Why is sound barrier?
Yeah,
Super early usage.
And this allows them to hold on to their own blade. It allows them to hold on to their own sound barrier. It just feels like a potentially really early, obviously didn't kind of see, know exactly where everybody was positioned. Health bars, maybe somebody was like, in a really risky spot in terms of, health and position. You needed to use it to save them, but still kind of, you get 37%, but it puts you at a huge disadvantage now moving forward on this point.
And so many ultimates in Toronto, too. And if they really wanted, they could aggro beat, but you just got to throw blade in. I think Sugar Free's just going to try and go at it again. Terror Surge comes in. Suzu, oh, that was half a second too late, but a pulse bomb from Pelican actually evens this one up. Sound barrier from Vega to try and keep the fight going. Sugar Free still with the blade, and Merritt with a high noon. I don't think they've really got the tools here to really turn this one around. I mean, maybe Merritt can find a cheeky little pick off here, but Sugar Free, not long for the world.
No.
Wow, good flip from M80 there. That pulse bomb from Pelican just started off that fight strong.
Yeah, and I think they kind of catch them off guard, using their Kitsune rush and just pushing on in behind that. And Toronto Defiant, you end up losing someone. They end up using the sound barrier, but M80 just takes a beat, just like kind of waits for a second and then pushes on in and just cleans everybody up.
All right, slowly now. M80 have taken the lead as Toronto Defiant try and make their ascent onto this high ground. High Noon's going to make it a little bit easier, but Happy is the first to fall. High Noon's a good zoning tool, and yeah, Hawk just suffering so much damage. Oh, how did that magnate him? My word. That did like a maze before it even hit the Lucio. That was ridiculous. M80 and OT now with 99%.
It's like Hook 1.0, but just kind of has a mind of its own sometimes. Goes around the side of walls. Is Toronto? Is there going to be another fight here? They kind of push M80 back as it'll just be Pelican who gets a touch, so will force OT.
Pelican got touched. There's the blade into the Terror Surge. Sugarfree taking a lot of damage, but Pelican just stands in front of him. What? He just dashes in front. Didn't think maybe Sugarfree was going to swing that? I mean, Sugarfree just kills 2 at the very end. That was a mistake from Pelican. You got to admit, Toronto Defiant take that point.
Maybe he thought he was weak enough that he was going to be able to just finish him off, right? You know, in that type of position, because he gets hit with a Terror Surge and lots of damage coming around. But yeah, just swipes, takes the Tracer out, and that puts Toronto on Flashpoint point here on New Junk City, and then also, I mean, they would move to map point in the series.
Pretty damn close. M80 saved a lot of ultimates in that last fight, though. You lose the fight, but you saved ults, yeah. Copium tanks at full charge right now. Happy, Pelican, and Liar, and even Ultraviolet now. Stick onto Merit, hit the roll, and the lamp came out. Double layer of protection there. Magnade over the top. And here comes the body block from someone. He's trying to make this one work. There's a couple of skulls built up, but any peekers? Yes, Liar ends up going down. Peeks at the last moment there, the last frame of that ult. They end up trading pretty well, though, however. M80 still come up with a kill onto Merit and Vega, as the point is theirs once more.
That is pretty fortunate that they find those 2 kills right after, as Merit now will go over to the Sojourn. So wants to play this as a little bit more range, a little bit mobility here and some high ground, right, that you may want to contest. So but man, I know being able to find that kill with the Deadeye, being able to bounce back is huge there for M80. I mean, that could have been backbreaking.
High Noon, however, now you're going to have to contend with this window. Oh, Sugarfree's right there. No more deflect, but no more High Noon. Sound barriers from both sides. Terror Surge boops everybody in, and Merit in trouble. It's all good, though, because Sugarfree's got his back. These resets are looking so strong from the Genji. Even a blade earned 2. Oh, nice deflection. Hawk, and, well, how Hawk survived there, I do not know. There we go. Eventually, Merit ends up taking him down. Pelican looked like he had that clutch factor in him. He had that dog in him again, but it will be M80 on the retreats.
It feels like Pelican is always alive. You never actually, like, kill him. It's just, like, whether his teammates live or not, to see if he backs up. It looks like actually somebody will be on the point here for M80. It's going to be Pelican. Getting at about 50% to 8 cap. I'm going to back up there for just a second.
Oh,
so we're going to get close to a tie game when this next fight starts to go crazy.
Oh no, the Lucio. Oh, Vega got caught by Liar of all people. There's the Suzu. It comes out. The deflection kill didn't end up coming through. It was actually Merit with a railgun shot onto Ultraviolets. Sugarfree in trouble, instantly healed back up to full HP. As Toronto Defiant are going to try and make this last fight. A stagger kills here would be perfect for their game plan and put them on match point as well. Liar goes down last. The pick that you don't want to die is that Lucio. There's no more taxi really available, and they're looking for more.
I mean, the ability to just be able to keep Sugarfree alive is unreal there, as RuPaul keeping him up on the Kariko right as
they get touched.
So using that blade is you get a touch, you find Pelican. That's kind of brutal.
You step into Merit's domain. Not today, Pelican. And Overclock finding one. Here comes the rush from Ultraviolet. They might be able to cap off of this as well. They do, in fact. This Echo pick from Happy, it comes back. It just isolates someone. Sticky bombs and focusing beam end up taking them down. But later, rush here from RuPaul is going to make sure they surge on forwards. These later picks, these stagger kills. Toronto Defiant unwavering in the all-out offense from M80. They're going to claim this 3rd point as soon as they clear off this pesky Tracer. There's no more dog in Pelican, unfortunately, as Toronto Defiant will eventually clear the rest of M80 off of this point. But a sound barrier comes in at the very end from Liar. It did hit 2, but Hawk is dead. A victory beat from Vega, and Toronto Defiant now are on match points.
Looking clean there, running that Genji. The supports, though, of the Defiant, specifically RuPaul, able to keep Sugarfree alive. I mean, that is some crazy stuff. As he was taking damage from just about everybody on the other side of M80, and you're able to keep him alive at the Genji there at the end. Makes the difference.
A big difference maker in that Genji. You'll love to see it. Still can't believe Pelican blinked in front of him, got a nice little double kill with the blade.
That was wild. I mean, just got cut up.
Yeah, sliced in half. This beginning of this this map was so funny. Both teams just kind of running rings around each other. It was like the Genji team wants to get on top of you because the Genji can then get resets, and it's so hard to kind of dislodge him and hard to keep track of him at the best of times, to be fair. Toronto Defiant ended up losing that first point. And I mean, the rest was really just history. Sugar-Free's Genji, of course, top tier as always. It's looking good so far, and now Toronto Defiant looking to defend their title. They're one more map away, Matt. We're going to Shambali Monastery up next.
Yeah, I mean, we think about how close New Queen Street was, right? You know, yesterday we were talking about how this series could have been potentially even, a 3-0 in favor of M80. I mean, today could have been potentially a 4-0, right? With the way things were going there for the Toronto Defiant. So I think you see how evenly matched both of these teams are, like just kind of like whoever's feeling it that day potentially. I know where you may have closed the gap if you're M80, but I think though Toronto Defiant want to come in here and really make a statement, right? I don't think they wanted to get a close series win here. I think they wanted to put up a pretty dominant scoreline.
126 elims to 73. A bloodbath, if I've ever seen one. No better map to do it on the new Junk City. Yeah, Shambali Monastery right now up, Matt. Escort going all the way, potentially here. Could be a repeat.
It's only 5k damage between the two teams, though, yeah. Right? Way more. I think the damage mitigated was like pretty even across the board, where it's kind of like what we've seen in a lot of the maps where throughout this series, where obviously you're going to see pretty big differences between KD and eliminations, but like damage mitigated, whatnot, like all in the ballpark of each other.
Yeah, they're always going to be pretty similar, especially with the Orissas. Like, you do so much, so much work in the front line. You're absorbing so much damage. The mitigations coming from that Fortify and the Terror Surge as well, to be fair, and even the Spear Spin. She survives a long time, surprisingly. That's why she's so good right now against a lot of things that can burst you out, especially with the new DPS passive. Shambali Monastery, how are you thinking Toronto Defiant end up assaulting this one? Are we going to see a little bit more Sugar-Free Genji, or like, how'd you feel?
I don't know if the Genji's really great here. I mean, maybe like if you wanted some ability to access like high ground in the secondary, I think people will just continue to run the Tracer. Maybe we see, do you want to play like a long range hit scan, right? Like, I think probably like more Sojourn, wouldn't be surprised. Maybe you see like somebody bust out a Widowmaker at the start on offense, like try and get a pick. I don't think we're in a spot with these two teams where you're going to see much experimentation in terms of comps. I think they kind of have a good idea of what they want to play. Yeah. Potentially know some Sigma here on Shambali. It's always been kind of like pretty strong throughout the history of Overwatch 2. So that's an option, which Sigma, I think, if you were to kind of make a tank tier list, I think Orisa would be like S++++. Like, Sigma's probably, not in that category, right? But probably the top tier of the next one, though.
Well, it's not what EU is saying. Ram is up there as well with Orisa.
Yeah, I mean, they would play. They were feeding the Reinhardt story for a while as well, and that things change. So Ramatra as well, though. I mean, I would say like they were not wrong. Where Ramatra is probably what Orisa, Sigma, Ramatra, and then Winston, right? I would probably say Orisa's number one. Sigma, Ramatra, Winston are kind of in that next tier altogether. Not entirely wrong.
No, not wrong at all. Here we go, loading into Shambali Monastery now. Our 5th map here in the grand finals. Can M80 bounce back? Toronto Defiant on match point. This is where EU ended last time around in stage 1. Can Toronto Defiant do the same thing and also defend the title? We'll have to wait and see. M80 are on the attack first.
Yeah, so the Defiant will come out here with the Ashe on defense. Okay, so pretty similar to Midtown, right? You kind of see running actually the same exact comp that they ran on Midtown. So the Ashe is actually pretty good here. You can get like tons of value with the Dynamites walking up the street.
All right, M80 as they plan for their attack phase. Let's get a quick listen in, see what's up.
Yeah, this one camp, go right side.
What? We play here? We play this comp?
Oh, I think Cass? Maybe?
Yeah, if they Genji. I think Sojourn is good on this.
If they don't have Genji, we go kill Sojourn, right?
Yeah. I think so, yeah. I'm saying bot.
I think they play maybe SG.
Don't break.
Brig?
Bray SG I think.
Do I go break.
야 오케이. 형도 바꿀래? 우리 조합 너무 구린데 지금.
I think it's security.
We change now. Wait.
Lucio
네,
Curry?
SG so.
Yeah, they're in bad break. Scrum down the holes. They're also the fact that he's serious. Help me the chest now.
루시 키리?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're starting a little bit.
When someone drops point, we can go. We're faster.
We can go top left and map heals, I think.
Yeah, we can. Go left.
We can go top.
Yeah.
Yeah, come top left. We can map heal.
You ready?
Yeah.
3,
2,
1, let's do
He's here.
Epic.
We're so close. We're so updating.
Wrist up.
It's alright.
Wrist one. Push. 3, 2, 1, push. Wrist up. No drone.
Come inside, I see you.
Drone. Wrist up.
I'm hurt.
3, 2,
Ready
1,
pushing.
push.
Go.
Break.
Someone left.
Break first.
Yeah.
Nice.
Stop one.
I push guys.
Up
Go.
one.
Go. Kill. Nice.
Good job. All right.
Come here, later.
Okay.
3 on, I think.
No.
Really decisive shot calling there from M80. Calling out the Orisa CDs and then just going for that push. Really nice stuff. Calling the amp heal and Suzu and whatnot as well. Nice starts. Just dislodging the high ground.
It was a nice adjustment as well to go over to the Lucio, right? I think they kind of quickly talked about, I know how they didn't really love what the Toronto Defiant were running, right? I don't think it's that great of a comp, and like figured out how they can really attack it with this Lucio speed and collapse. So really nice adjustments from M80 at the start. Gonna need to win another fight or two though to get this first checkpoint.
Trying to push through this window, and someone just the only one that's using it right now. It's a lot of damage from the Orisa, but unfortunately that railgun landing in Merit should be the end of this fight. I mean, Toronto Defiant now just on a slow bleed out. It's a very quick push from M80 despite the time on the clock right now. It's very hard to get it around this corner. We see a lot of teams being stalled here, so you take this with time. Look at that, 4 minutes to go through the caves now.
Yeah, and I wonder how long. I mean, Toronto, right? You have this, you have the Bob, you have the Rally. Feels like you're kind of stuck on this comp for now, but feels like that with what M80 is doing with playing aggressive, you know, with this Sojourn, Kiri, Lucio, you're able to just kind of collapse on the Ash. Just the kind of like chip damage doesn't really matter.
Oh, good boot by Lyre. Where's the Bob? Not sure, but it's not in the fight. That is something I do know. Terror Surge coming in, Sugar Free waiting to stick in this pulse bomb. Nice little bash there from Vega, just dashes over towards Hawk and Merit's Dynamite, and his bullets will do the rest.
Yeah, so maybe now you can get more value out of it, right? Because you just kind of slowed things down. Now you can kind of control the high ground, where before it was just kind of the constant flow and push from M80. So we'll see if Toronto's comp starts to come alive a little bit, right? It's going to be a little bit harder to kind of like speed up through this high ground.
Okay. Just a quick rotation. Oh, Lyre's quite lucky. A lot of architecture you can hide behind though, so you're all chilling. All right, we'll see how Toronto Defiant respond. It's just going to be a flip of the map here, so the high ground advantage in M80's favor right now. If they can continue having Merit on this, it's not an off angle, but he's like kind of right at the back here with RuPaul. It can be quite frustrating to deal with if you're Hawk, having to walk up like that. And in fact, no, they're just going to flip again, so now they're on low ground.
Yeah, but look at how much they closed the gap between these two teams. Now they're so much closer together as opposed to Toronto controlling that high ground.
What a stick onto Lyre from Sugar Free. They wanted to try and take down Merit, and you look how many resources just being pumped in, and Merit still comes up with 2 kills in that fight, despite 5 people from M80 looking and shooting at him. Nice stagger onto Happy, too.
Yeah, it's just a stagger here. They do get the kill on Happy. Just tried to slide away, make it a little bit interesting, but yeah, they actually do a really nice job. I actually thought M80 kind of like rotating around the map, you know, using their speed to force a closer position for them to attack from. So I see Pelican gets really low, actually just trying to push his way up towards that payload, where I thought it was really good for M80, but just not able to secure that kill on a Merit as Merit finds another one off spawn. This is where, you know, this Ash becomes really strong, right? Controlling this high ground here as they're trying to push up, just constantly just doing damage.
Yeah, and the Bob is so strong in these caves as well. As long as it doesn't get booped or anything like out of LOS, you just send it. Hopefully it doesn't get speared, booped, whatever, and it's just annoying. It's like an extra person just perma-firing at your front line. Real rough stuff. Oh, good dynamite too. All right, that'll be Bob in about 10%. It's a couple of shots.
You're only at 1:20 on the clock, right? I mean, you're looking at what, this fight and then another one here for M80 before you're in OT. So although they had a really good point they take,
here's the Bob.
May go for nothing.
Look at Bob's LOS as well. Almost perfect. They've chased Hawk away.
Bob shooting Hawk though, yeah.
They managed to get Hawk out of there. Terror Surge for someone. Doesn't end up finding anybody, so just uses it. More of a style thing. I feel.
Yeah, the Bob got like dislodged around the corner, but it still had line of sight of Hawk. Because Hawk pushes around the corner, takes tons of damage. Oh, wow.
They're beating in. The spear onto Happy, forces them back. Here comes the rush. Sound barrier, no available for Toronto Defiant, obviously no Lucio, but this Brig over health is just going to be so hard to take down. Pulse Bomb even landed on Vega there, but still stood up to the test of the damage.
I mean, I think you're just using the sound barrier and everything there to try and find a pick, open up some space, but they find absolutely nothing there. So that's all your support ults gone for M80, pushing up into the high ground now where Toronto Defiant only needs one more fight.
Happy can't get a pick either. It's so difficult for Happy there. There's so much overhealth still remaining from that rally. Happy just getting chunked out in the backline as well. Merit almost a perfect position there to get some damage in. Someone with a spear to Happy's back as he tried to flee is going to come up with a kill. And with Hawk going down, it's looking quite disastrous for M80 as they try and push onto this point. I think their journey on Shambali Monastery will end here. And Toronto Defiant have a clear goal in mind. Get it to those caves, get it up that ramp, and take victory from M80.
Yeah, it's obviously good there from M80 getting that first checkpoint, but no, then it was all Toronto. Once they kind of stopped that bleeding and was able to kind of gain control, play a little bit slower, then Ash is set up in fantastic positions to do some work.
That was a really nice push initially, though, from M80. Their initial attack was fantastic. Obviously, we listened to them to the comms just to see what was up, and their decisive decision-making and, like, how they approached that first fight, dislodging the high ground, was really sublime. Let's get Toronto listening to compare.
If they bot play, we can just point corner and walk in down, okay? We can walk in down.
Okay.
Because you can have a point.
Yeah.
Maybe like I think we don't need a hard push top. I think we can just first point.
Yeah.
Today Pelican like dead like randomly.
Pelican always nervous at finals, just normal.
Break,
okay. Have Hapuri. You don't want to Genji, right? Just Tracer? No, Tracer better. Tracer better. Yeah.
They're shooting first enemy Tracer and ready for walking top, okay?
If I'm risk wasting you can't walk top, okay?
Yeah.
All right, we're back in. There you go, someone calling just to force out Tracer. Can fight the low ground. Just hopefully waiting for Merit to get a pick.
Yeah, as you'll see, a mirror of the Ash here, right? So, gonna play that Ash on the high ground here. Just try and get some more chip damage as people try and walk up these narrow corridors that are on Shambali, right? And pretty narrow chokes throughout the entire map.
Are they going to do the same thing? Probably. I haven't got the amp up heals, but that Inspire still does a lot. A Dynamite actually burning Pelican alive, I think. Unfortunate stuff. Here you go. Here's the push. RuPaul just keeping his front liners alive. Still that fire damage just so annoying to deal with because it applies that DPS passive to everybody. And how they found Hawk in a small room. They try and body block him. There's the lamp to try and save him, but it's not enough. Good aim from Sugar Free to just chunking down that Brig. My word, though. Happy and Pelican still come back with kills. Like, that's absurd.
I mean, that you shouldn't win fights like that. I mean, that is just so stupid that Pelican and Happy just absolutely dominate there towards the second half of that fight. Do I think they're going to be able to get like a hold here? Like, you still have some players coming off a respawn, right? So you might have to back up just a little bit, but
they're fighting.
That potentially stops a lot of progress there, so that's huge.
They're throwing hands, but hands were thrown right back. Pelican got smacked by Merit. That's a window and a bob used by M80 to try and control the high ground, and they lose a Tracer. Uh-oh, and now I don't think Liar's going to survive this one, sadly. 1 HP dashes out the window, and there we go. Okay, Toronto Defiant. Oh, come on now. Come on now. Oh, Hawk, my boy. There we go. He ends up going down. Nice small stagger, but that might be the difference maker.
Yeah, I mean, what, that little bit of time is going to allow the payload to cross these
no
narrow choke and then make it around the corner. Yeah, but no Lucio. I mean, we have Spear Spin to make it out of spawn, right? But, like, yeah, you see how far away he is. Sugar Free going to go for a spawn camp on him?
No, he's just trying to get a pulse on the Brig, I think. Oh, what a stick! Oh. Shifted out of there, but it was too little, too late, Happy. An alley-oop from Sugar Free. And with Merit finding 2 as well. M80. They've disappeared off the map. A team kill, 4 minutes to go, and look at where this golden bolt to victory is.
I mean, that is a long-range pulse bomb there from Sugar Free as he lurks up. We had a little bit more lurking here. Look at this, someone pushing over the corner. The Pelican actually switches over to the Genji, so pretty fortunate for M80. He actually just jumped into that window, spots them just kind of lurking around the corner, or else they were going to walk right into that Terror Surge. No speed to get out.
Oh, M80. They got to try summon here. Genji's so far away from the blade, obviously, like you just said, Matt, only just swapped. Terror Surge available from M80, as well as that rally. The rally's the big one. Of course, Vega used that at the last fight, so you're looking for M80 just kind of hold on. They don't want to use it too early, as Toronto Defiant have so much time in their time bank to play with.
Yeah, a lot of ultimates for M80. I think if you're the Defiant, you have to kind of probably realize that. See if you can work one of these ultimates out. Looks like potentially building up towards this RuPaul Amp Matrix, and then maybe you decide to go, as they're letting RuPaul take all this healing onto someone.
Pretty smart play. Exactly right. Here's the window from RuPaul. They're going to go for a flank. Oh, they are. They're going to flank window with the Ash. The Terror Surge is going to come in. Merrick clicks on Happy's head, instantly killing him. There's a rotation from Liar with the rally. That window's been used. The Terror Surge as well. Oh, Merrick just descends down onto the Terror Surge, gets taken out. Pelican dashes to the payload. There's no C9 in progress. Ultimate's coming up from M80's DPS, but Toronto Defiant still trying to push the issue. They got a pulse bomb in hand, as well as someone in Vega on the point. But here come the kills for Sugar Free. He's in. Pulse bomb goes wide. Pelican's got to stay alive with 10% towards that play, but he gets speared out of the sky. It is someone in Vega that hold down the fort. Toronto Defiant tower over the competition, and they are back-to-back stage champions.
Man, now they get revenge on M80. M80 looked awesome the other day in their match against the Defiant. The Defiant, they'll come in today, take care of business against students of the game, and then kind of make it look fairly easy at times here against M80. So right there towards the end, they just go on a flank with that Amp Matrix and just get that one kill, and then they back out. I mean, that's all they need at that time. And I know towards the end, it's like Hawk and Pelican trying to make a play. I think Liar there as well, but they just run down the Brig. No way that the Brig is going to survive the Tracer in the Orisa coming on through. Hawk and Pelican can't even really do anything, right? Because they can't leave the cart because it's being pushed forward. So really tough situation there for M80. I think they prove they can kind of play with that top competition, obviously beating the Defiant the other day, but Toronto secures their spot as the best in NA.
Looked like a small blip on the radar, their series yesterday. That flank from RuPaul was just nasty. Toronto Defiant, back-to-back stage champs. We're going to throw it over to the desk to round out the stage.
Super Toronto Defiant fan Danny is thrilled, elated, and honestly, so is everyone, because... Okay, listen, calm down.
We'll give him this one.
Yeah, we give him this one. Honestly, though, I mean, you're not crazy if you predict M80 here, given the way the upper finals yesterday have looked like. But this seemed to be like a completely rejuvenated roster. They made adaptations in their approach, and it worked out. They had some big performances here. Yesterday, we didn't get to see as much from the damage duo over on the side of Toronto Defiant. Today, they showed up.
Yeah, Sugar Free and Merit, I think they understood the assignment. Maybe they heard some chirping in the community about the damaged players on both squads. I feel like they were the stronger players in the server today. Sugar Free looked a ton cleaner. In the Tracer 1v1s coming out on top quite often, but also just the full court press from the team play. So strong from Toronto Defiant. I mean, this is, I think, them showing the full strength that we've come to expect from them. Maybe yesterday it was just a blip on the radar. I do think, though, this M80 squad is going to have more to say in the future in Dallas, but an incredible win for Toronto Defiant. I mean, this is a statement win, putting themselves at the top of North America. And we really got to see a ton of flexibility from both squads. Sugar Free bringing out a significant amount of Genji, Merit with the Ashe, the Sojourn, the Cass, whatever was required. So both teams really matching each other in these counter swap battles. I have to feel like also Vega's Brig was really rock solid. There was a number of these pushes with Lucio, even the Kiri ult, and Vega manages to just skirt away with his life on the Brig. Crucial to have an elite Brig player when it comes to playing these international lands, facing some of the best divers in the world.
Yeah, an opportunity for M80 to adapt, learn from this series going into Dallas, because that's what matters ultimately. The first major here in OWCS. I really liked someone's play on the Barista in particular. I think especially on Midtown, you saw how someone was able to absorb pressure, but also find crucial picks. Isolate targets into the backline, working around Hawk that come out, play the Sigma on their attack respectively. But also there are fights that broke down and someone securing 1 or 2 picks on the defensive side. Especially trading. I mean, it happens so often in this series, and we saw especially here on Flashpoint too. Like, they were trading back and forth, and it's about who really comes out on top of these team fights, who can be the final 2-3 players on point that can really carry it for the rest of your team. I also think it's noteworthy to talk about the map pool here. Toronto Defiant, Cazores, I think I finally figured out your coaching documents. Ban the maps we lose and pick the maps we win. Yesterday,
crazy.
we saw that M80 actually picked Midtown. This time around, Toronto Defiant, they said, hey, we won Midtown, we want to play Midtown again. But instead, they banned Colosseo instead of picking it. And we also saw New Junk City being played instead of Saravasa, which we've pretty much seen all week. And Sugar Free accordingly brought out the Genji, like Jake said. That was a big adaptation for these teams. Like you said, Vega playing the Brig was phenomenal. But player of the match has to be Sugar Free. We talked about it going into the game, Jake. But getting the edge in this Tracer matchup really gave you a leg up in the series.
Yeah, I feel like Sugar Free put up a much more impressive game today, as well as Merit. I mean, overall, the whole team did look a lot stronger than we've seen them in the past. So M80, I think they did play well, but I think this was sort of the final form of Toronto. What we can expect from them maybe in Dallas is this level of consistency. In fairness, when you're on top that long, sometimes you do need a wake-up call. And to be honest, like after this performance, I do feel like that's what yesterday was for them. Rather than truly like a showing of Toronto's limit, it's just reminded them that they still need to give 100% if they want to beat some of the best teams in the world. And M80 is also a team of that caliber. You have to come prepared. You have to come correct.
Absolutely. And honestly, Sugar Free, Bagana Genji, that's the timeline I want to be living in. Like that's just fun to see. Generally, I did love what we've seen from pretty much all the teams in the main event and even in the group stages. They diversified. We saw a lot of different compositions, a lot of little niche picks as well, and a lot of players being able to rely on their individual comfort picks in a lot of those matchups.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get the smallest advantage, whether it comes to picking your Genji or Echo, like we saw Pelican do, for example, but also encouraging his team to play Brigitte yesterday. Now we saw Toronto play more Brig, and you look at the stats, and it really, M80, they're kind of there, but at the same time, it's not really about the damage. It's not really about the damage mitigated. It's about the KD, and Toronto Defiant definitely came out on top.
Yeah, I think Toronto did a much better job of living in some of these big ultimate turns, right? Like when all the ults come down, it really is critical that you're just skirting back enough. I mean, in the end, there's no like true pre-planning it. It's not like we can just have a great macro play. At this level, the enemy team knows you want to run away when they ult. So they're trying to catch you on corners, find you in a spot that you can't quite escape. You've used some crucial cooldown. And so you really have to keep it in mind at all times that there's the possibility of that extreme aggression. And I mean, Toronto definitely was a stronger team in that regard today about playing around the ultimate turns. Especially, I think we felt it in the Brig Bap on Shambali versus the Lucio Kiri. That's a very challenging matchup to play Brig Bap in. It's very easy to get overrun if you aren't perfectly in sync and kiting together, since the enemy has a huge speed advantage on you. But they made it look easy. Like, it didn't ever seem like they were close to being caught in most of those fights.
Yeah, but it's such an opposite look from what we've seen yesterday. Can you maybe give me just the TLDW, too long didn't watch yesterday's match? How did they turn him around? What was the biggest difference from what Toronto Defiant did yesterday to what they did today, Jen?
I mean,
that's a little. There's something.
Is it just that performance?
That's a
is it
big
just individual performance?
It does help a lot. I mean, Happy was relatively quiet, because Merit stood out so much today, right? And yesterday we were all about Pelican, Happy. That was a big reason why M80 won. But today it was kind of the opposite. It was Sugar Free and Merit really showing up for their team. And I mean, we like to talk a lot about teamwork and ultimate usage, but at this level as well, it's about showing up with your A game for the right series. And I definitely feel like this gave me confidence as a Toronto Defiant fan ultimately, because they were able to turn things around yesterday from a pretty difficult loss yesterday. I sat down there just like, are you maybe just a little boomed now because you've been so dominant for a while and then M80 comes out and takes you out in an official match? Maybe are you going to start overthinking it? But honestly, this turnaround from Toronto Defiant and the way they play their game today, that's really reassuring, because that actually tells you that if they show up and they play their best game, they're really confident in it and they got the advantage.
And also they played 7 maps total the whole day, right? With the first match and then against M80 too. So Toronto Defiant just being able to be focused for that long. It's another great, I think, asset to have, or ability to have.
I mean, and that's what you want, to be honest, right? The upper bracket final, maybe you don't have your best game. Well, you have your best game in the grand final. I mean, that's exactly what I want from players if I'm building a team. Is I want the guys who are gonna do the best under the most pressure. I want the people who can take that pressure and turn it into something incredible. And I really feel like, for me, Sugar Free and Merit are maybe those guys. Sugar Free was in particular today on the Tracer noticeably stronger. That means some of these pulse bombs changed the course of the game, whether it's the Lucio, Shambali in particular, right? A couple huge pulse bombs from Sugar Free lock in the series victory.
Yeah, he's had a lot of great moments in this entire series. Let's actually listen in to the comms to hear the final moments of how they got it done.
Get you one. Let's go!
The team obviously elated. They got their revenge, they got the victory, and they now have the title of the best team in Stage 2 in our NA region. And now it is time to talk to 2 of their players. We have Someone and Merit joining us for a quick chat. Congratulations. Thank you so much for joining us.
오늘 우승 축하드리면서 이렇게 인터뷰에 응해주셔서 너무 감사하다고 소희님께서 말씀을 하시네요. 일단 한마디씩 부탁드릴게요. 우승한 거에 대해서.
제가 먼저 할까요?
네, 먼저 하세요.
일단은 솔직히 말해서 저는 무조건 북미를 먹는 게 맞다고 생각하고, 근데 이제 어제 져가지고 좀 제 자신한테 실망스럽지만 그래도 다시 우승해서 기분이 많이 좋습니다.
네, 일단 메리트 선수 듣기 전에 먼저 서먼 선수부터 일단 제가 통역을 먼저 해드릴게요. Let's start with let me go translate and then we'll go into Merit Senso as well. Someone said, he felt that it was his duty or his right to win over the best NA team title. Of course, yesterday because they did lose, that made him sad, but he's really glad to take the title back and win become the champions for the North America region. All right, Merit, how about you? 메리트 선수는요?
일단 저번 경기 때 M80한테 졌었는데 그게 이제 저희한테 경각심을 갖게 해줘서 그런 저희 문제점들을 보완해서 이번에 쉽게 이기게 된 것 같습니다.
Definitely the loss against M80 was a big wake-up call for all of us on Toronto. Definitely because of that, we were able to fix a lot of mistakes from that match, and I think that is how we were able to win today against M80 one more time.
So I guess I'm curious, I want to ask Merit personally. Yesterday, a big standout was Pelican and Happy had great performances. How did Merit turn things around for him personally in the damage matchup? How did Merit refocus going into today's match?
이번 질문은 이제 메리트 선수를 위한 건데 어제 경기를 솔직히 보면은 이제 딜러들의 싸움이었는데 거기서 이제 어제는 아쉽게도 메리트 선수보다는 조금 더 펠리칸 선수와 해피 선수가 조금 더 좀 더 좋은 모습을 보여주지 않았나라는 생각을 합니다. 하지만 오늘은 좀 이제 또 다른 이제 메리트 선수가 훨씬 더 좋은 모습을 보여줬기 때문에 어떻게 해서 좀 이런 어떻게 보면 경기 흐름을 어떻게 좀 바꿀 수 있었나요? 하루 만에.
일단 팀적으로 좀 많이 쫄고 플레이를 했었기 때문에 저희 전체가 그래서 이제 이번에는 이제 쫄지 말고 좀 자신감 있게 하자 이렇게 해서 그렇게 된 것 같습니다.
I do feel like the biggest difference was the confidence going into yesterday's all of our team or the DPS lineup, me and both Sugar Free were playing a little bit scared, so we had to go overcome that, play less scared, be more confident. I think that was the key.
Love it.
I'm curious about some of the chirping going on in the community. Gator was talking a lot before this match about how he thought it could be an easy win, and there's so much pressure on the players in Toronto. So I'm curious what someone and Merritt have to say. Any words for Gator about thinking they could win so easily against you?
자, 이번 질문 이제 두 분 다 답을 해주시면 되는데요. 이제 보실지 모르겠지만은 이제 M80의 감독님인 게이터 선수가 오늘 경기 전에 오늘 경기 굉장히 쉬울 것 같다라는 말을 좀 했었는데 그 언변에 대한 좀 답변은 어떻게 생각하시나요? 이제 경기가 끝난 후에 경기가 쉬울 거라고 예상을 했었는데 그 예상대로 안 흘러간 거에 대해서 두 분은 좀 어떻게 생각을 하시는지?
게이터 감독님이 준비를 제대로 안 하다가는 방탈당할 수 있으니까 좀 더 준비를 하셔야 될 것 같아요.
So someone says, I mean, Gator, if he doesn't really prepare, he's probably gonna get knocked out super fast. So he should probably go back to, reworking his strategies. All right, Merritt, how about you? 메리트 선수는요?
일단 게이터 감독님이 일단 자기 팀들이 이제 지기 쉽다라는 말을 한 것 같아요. 제가 생각하기에.
All right, so Merritt says that I think he got it wrong. Maybe Gator said it was going to be an easy loss for the M80.
Makes sense. I misheard.
Of course. Of course.
All right, I'm going to close it out. My question is, I think going into Dallas, we're going to see it's going to be the first time that we see all of the regions going to be played together. So, someone at Merritt, to be honest, what are your thoughts on if you could do a ranking system with Asia, NA, and also EMEA? Where would you put NA in that tier list? In your honest opinion. 자, 마지막 질문으로 저는 이제 궁금한 게 이제 달라스를 가면서 처음으로 이제 새 대륙들이 이제 처음으로 만나는 그런 경기가 될 텐데 두 선수는 어떻게 북미가 아시아랑 이제 뭐 EMEA 이쪽이랑 같이 이렇게 비교를 했을 때 티어를 먹인다면 좀 몇 순위에 있는 것 같으신가요?
저는 솔직히 말해서 사탕 발린 말 하기 싫어서 팩트만 말하자면 토론토, 코리아, EU, NA인 것 같습니다.
I mean, he just said it. He just added, he doesn't want to sugarcoat, and he wants to get the straight facts. Toronto, Korea, and then he said EU, NA. All right, Merritt, how about you? 메리트 선수는요?
유럽 쪽은 잘 모르겠고 일단 북미 아니면 한국인데 솔직히 이제 경기를 해봐야 알 것 같습니다.
Yeah.
제 느낌에.
All right, Merritt says he's not too sure because he doesn't really know about EU, but it's either going to be NA or Korea. But he's not even sure about that because he has to play the game first to actually make a tier list.
True sportsman.
Yeah, that's fair. One last question to the two of you before we're heading into a bit of a break, and we will see you back in action, of course, over in Dallas, Texas for DreamHack. But is there anything you want to say to the fans who have supported you and your team through stage 1 as well as stage 2?
자, 지금까지 이제 계속 이렇게 사랑과 이제 계속 관심을 줬던 팬분들에게 두 선수 한마디씩 해주실 수 있나? 네, 부탁드립니다.
어제 M80한테 3대1로 지고 그리고 게다가 경기력도 안 좋아서 많이 실망했고 이제 토론토 이제 거품이 다 빠졌구나 이 생각을 하셨을 텐데 저희는 계속 잘해질 거고 이제 한국이랑 유럽도 계속 이길 거니까 끝까지 응원해 주시면 감사하겠습니다.
Yeah, I mean, after the MA loss against yesterday, we lost to them 3-1. Of course, we had a very poor performance. So a lot of people might be thinking that we're all talk, but we are definitely improving. We are going to get better. We are going to beat Korea and Europe as well. So keep on supporting us. All right, Merritt, how about you? 자, 메리트 선수도요.
항상 응원해 주셔서 감사하고 댈러스 때 좋은 모습 보여드리겠습니다.
Yeah, thank you so much for the support, and we will definitely put up a good performance in Dallas, Texas.
Well, we can't wait to see you guys back in action. That was someone and Merritt. Thank you so much for joining us. You want to translate that or?
오늘 같이 감사합니다. 저세 감사합니다.
감사합니다.